Seattle's 2025 housing market wasn't chaotic, but it was certainly revealing. I'm Katie, a local Seattle real estate advisor, and let's break down actually what happened last year. What we saw in 2025 is that slower didn't necessarily mean weaker. Homes took a little longer than we saw in 2024 to go to mutual, and certainly compared to the ultra competitive years before that. But prices really kept up. The median home price rose from $925 in 2024 to $975 in 2025. So sellers have become more comfortable being okay with homes being on the market a little longer than a week. And of course, homes that were really prepared well, priced well, sold at list regardless of whether it was within 5 days or 15 days. Rates did help also. We saw about a 1-point drop from the beginning of the year to where we closed in December to as low as the high fives. So that certainly brought a few more buyers back. And as we've started 2026, we're seeing that out in the market. 3 neighborhoods that did extremely well in 2025 and blew past their performance of the high highs in 2022 are Madison Park. So in 2024, the median home price there was $2.25 million. It rose to $2.6 in 2025. Now, I did want to point out Madison Park is the second most expensive neighborhood in Seattle proper, coming in right behind Broadmoor. Secondly is Phinney Ridge. 2024 median price was 1.1 and they went up to 1.3 in 25. So there's a big demand for the Phinney Ridge area and not a ton of stuff moves because it is mostly single family homes. Third is Maple Leaf, going from $930,000 to 1.06. And I believe this could be boosted just by commuters returning to office. The proximity of Maple Leaf is so close to I-5, and it's a very desirable area for families. Not every area has fully rebounded to its 2022 peak. And that includes places like Ballard and Capitol Hill and even Blue Ridge. Now, Ballard and Capitol Hill are very similar in nature. They both are predominantly driven with townhomes and condos. And so some of those single family homes that once existed are being replaced. But more importantly, these areas are very, very vibrant. And so it's a particular buyer looking to live in these places. And overall, townhomes have decreased in value compared to single family homes. And one thing to mention in these areas, Ballard, when we look at that data, it is pulled out from the overall arching Ballard of like Olympic Manor, Sunset Hill. This is very specific just to more the south part of Ballard, and the same is true of Capitol Hill. North Capitol Hill data is very different, and that is going to involve a lot more of those bigger, larger homes, and the price points are very different, not to mention they're actually increasing. And regarding Blue Ridge, this is in an area that is made up of 450 homes. So there were only 14 transactions 2025. But what makes it unique is that from 21 to 22, their rise was huge. The median home price was 1.5 million and it went to 1.9 in 2022. So, and it stayed pretty much that. It didn't have the drop that a lot of other areas experienced in 2023. So 2024, it ended, the overall median was 1.79. Still strong, but not to where it was. And a quick reminder that real estate wealth is really built over a long term. We had some unbelievable years that kind of threw us for a loop, but realistically, when we look at 2015 to 2025, year over year, we appreciated about 6%, which is fantastic. So some years you get the double digits and some you get the negative, but overall, if you bought a home in 2015 for $550,000, that home is worth about 77% more than what you paid. And that number even goes higher if you've made, improvements to your kitchen, your bathroom. All of that's important. But bottom line, the Seattle real estate market really showed resilience in 2025, and long-term ownership here continues to build wealth. If you have any questions about a specific market or are interested about selling or buying, please feel free to reach out.